right, you know what time it is. Live from the Bare Muscle Garage, it's time for Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. So we've got not a short one for you today. We've got a 20-minute sweat fest of 20 calories on the row, 10 handstand push-ups, 10 chest to bar pull-ups, and 10 dumbbell bench. And we may be looking at this thinking, I don't have half of this stuff. How do you want me to do this? Don't worry, guys. As always, we're going to warm up really well, and we're going to go through all the options that will allow you to do this workout or your version of it, right where you are, using what you have and doing what you can. But let's go ahead and start this general warm up. Here we go. Let's get some arm circles going back. Arm circles back. And as you know, my name is Coach Chris. I am a level 3 CrossFit trainer, which means I've logged thousands of hours over many years, helping many people just like you live their best life through health and fitness. Let's move on to arms across the chest. Hug yourself, love yourself. And what does living your best life mean to you? And how does fitness fit into that picture? That's what we want to know from you as we continue to warm up and get to know our Fit Crew a little bit better. Let's move on to the wrist wave here. And let's hear from Twin One. Go ahead, say your name, where you're from, and why is fitness important to you in your life right now?
Hi, I'm Denise, New York. Fitness, I think, is very important to me because I know that it's beneficial for having a good quality of life. We age, we're not going to get any younger, and I feel like the more independent I can be, as I get older, the better, because then I can take care of myself, I can take care of my family, and I can take care of my friends, and they don't have to worry about me. I'll be able to handle myself, and fitness is like the key ingredient in that. So that's why it's so important to me.
Very noble goals, and so glad you are putting forth that effort so that you can be the best you can be for those who are most important to you in your life. Let's go ahead and move on to some high knees into chest, or if it works better, we could do some high elbows like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Betty Boop. Go ahead, say your name, where you're from, and why is fitness important to you in your life right now?
Hi, my name is Maggie. I'm in South Florida, and fitness to me is being able to do whatever comes my way, whatever the task at hand is. I'm an independent person, and I've got a lot of things to do, and I know a lot of people that are younger than me, and they're not able to do as much. So I'm able to help others because I am fit and not as fit as I want to be, but I'm working on it. And so it's extremely important to me. Thanks, Coach.
No, and thank you. Appreciate that modesty. Always hungry to improve, which is why you're such an inspiration. But trust me, the level of fitness you have achieved is definitely a testament to your dedication and an inspiration for us all. Let's move on to some calf raises. Up on the toe, back on the heel, up on the toe, back on the heel. Or if it works better, we can do some wrist extensions like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. Go ahead, say your name, where you're from, and why is fitness important to you in your life right now?
Hi, my name's Renee. I'm from Georgia. Fitness is important to me because it helped me with my everyday life. It helps me to do the things I need to do. Even in my volunteer work, it helps you with energy, concentration. But without fitness, I probably won't be able to do this, that, or help other people do other things. So it really give me the motivation to keep pushing and keep doing what I need to do.
And that inspiration is contagious to all of us. And thank you for using your life in such an important way, Mighty Mouse. Let's go ahead and move on to some jumping jacks. Or we could do some stepping jacks if we want low impact. And so understanding our why and how fitness fits into our purpose is the single most important first step in developing unshakable discipline and dedication in this program. We go over this and much more in the Committed Club Academy. The Academy is the best way to dig deep and understand not just this program, but to understand yourself and to understand how fitness helps you to become your best self. If any of this sounds interesting to you, please click that link that's in this video, or feel free to message me directly for details. Let's go ahead and take a break from the warm-up, guys, and we're going to move on to the activation phase, which is where we're going to do a couple different moves that are going to help us to get specifically ready for today's workout. The first move we're doing is reverse plank ups, and let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 reverse plank ups for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the reverse plank up is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reverse plank ups together. And so the reverse plank up, it could be a bit hard on the wrist, in which case we may choose to do the glute bridge instead. And let's have twin one show us what this glute bridge looks like. We'd be laying on our back, pulling the feet in close to the hips, squeezing the glutes, getting the hips nice and high, holding the top for about 2 seconds before coming back down. But if we're doing the reverse plank up as prescribed, then we are sitting up with those legs out in front of us, hands to the side, squeezing those glutes, keeping those arms nice and straight to get even more tricep activation as well as glute activation. And so good job here on the reverse plank up or the glute bridge, whichever version is better for us. Next, we're going to do some Supermans, and let's have twin one roll over and show us what a couple Supermans look like. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then the Superman is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 Supermans together. So on the Superman, we are laying face down. We've got those arms out in front of us, legs back, and then we are raising those arms and those legs, holding the top for about 2 seconds before coming back down, dialing in that arch position and activating that whole posterior chain. And so good job here on these Supermans. Next, we're going to do some plank rows, and let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 plank rows on each arm. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the plank row is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 plank rows on each arm. Now, it could be that doing this off the ground is a bit hard on the wrist, in which case we may choose to do this off of an inclined surface, just like we see Betty Boop doing here. In an inclined plank position, it could be off a counter, could be off a sofa, or even off the wall. But then we are rowing that fist into that chest, using as much incline as needed. But if we're doing this off the ground, we're in a nice plank position there with the hips low, avoiding piking or sagging, squeezing that gut, and shifting the weight, rowing that fist into the chest, making sure to keep the chest and the hips square with the ground. So good job on these plank rows. Next, we're going to do some push-ups, and let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 2 push-ups for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the push-up is going to look like this. So let's all join in and let's do 10 push-ups together. Now, similar to that plank row, it could be that we need to do this off of an inclined surface, just like we see Betty Boop doing here. We could do this off a counter, off a sofa, or even off the wall, but we're in an inclined plank position, lowering that chest, touching, and then pressing out until those elbows lock out at the top there. But if we're doing this off the ground as prescribed, we are getting that chest and the thighs to touch the ground. We're looking for full range of motion, looking for that contact. And we're also looking to keep that midline nice and tight, no snaking or worming on these push-ups. So on the ground, we're going to take a deep breath in, brace that core. Those shoulders and those hips rise together as we lock out at the top. So good job on these push-ups. Next, we're going to do some walk the floors. Let's have twin one demonstrate one walk the floor from the straddle position for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the walk the floor is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 5 walk the floors together. Now, it could be that getting all the way down to the ground is a challenge, in which case we have a couple options here. We can do this walk the floor just down to that plank position and then walk it back. Or it could be that we need to do the walk the floor off of an incline, just like we see Betty Boop doing here. We're going to start with our feet up against the object. Then we're going to take a couple steps back, and then we're going to take a couple steps forward, and then we're going to clap overhead to finish the move. But if we are doing this as prescribed, we're in a nice straddle position today, walking those hands out, getting that chest on the ground, and then leading with the hips on the way back up, getting those hips piked up, and then standing and reaching at the top. And so good job on these walk the floors. And finally, here in the activation phase, we're going to do some dumbbell strict press. And let's look on as twin one demonstrates 2 reps of the dumbbell strict press for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that dumbbell strict press is going to look like this. So let's all join in here and let's do 10 dumbbell strict press together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are going to be holding those dumbbells from underneath, and it's going to rest on the shoulders at the top. And then we are pressing those dumbbells upward and those arms back until the biceps touch those ears. And then we are coming back down, elbows pointing forward throughout the movement. And so good job here on this dumbbell strict press. Well, that is it for the activation phase. Now we're going to move on to the movement prep, which is where we're going to practice specifically the 4 moves that we are doing in today's workout. The first move is going to be the row. So if you happen to have a rowing machine, what I'd like you to do is to hop on that machine and let's do a 1-minute row to measure our calorie output. And that's going to help us to determine what's a good amount of calories for us to scale to if needed in the workout. But most of us don't have these machines. We're the machines. We're going to do an at-home modification for the row that preserves the stimulus of driving with the legs and pulling on that handle. we're going to do some kettlebell sumo deadlift high pulls. And let's grab a light kettlebell and let's look on as Twin One demonstrates the kettlebell sumo deadlift high pull. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that kettlebell sumo deadlift high pull is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the sumo deadlift high pull together. So right now we're looking to use a super light weight, a kettlebell if we have one. It could be a dumbbell if that's what we have, or honestly, any other common household object, preferably something with a handle today, such as a water jug, a laundry detergent jug, an orange juice jug. But we're looking for this to be 10 pounds or less, 5 kilos or less. And at the start of the movement, that object is going to be on the ground in between the feet, hips super low, but the chest is up, and we are looking straight ahead. We're driving the ground away with the legs, getting to a standing position before we do anything with the arms. After we feel that hip pop, that's when we get the arms up and outside and getting that object to the upper part of the chest to finish the move. And so good job here on these sumo deadlift high pulls. The second move that we are doing today is handstand push-ups. And let's look on as Twin One demonstrates one handstand push-up for us. Now notice, this is a very high skill movement. We have lots of different options here, just in case that seems a bit crazy for us. So starting with option number one, we have straddle pike push-ups. And let's have Twin One demonstrate a couple straddle push-ups for us. And if even that's a bit crazy, we can do those incline push-ups or whatever we were doing in the warm-up. And that can be another option for us today. But honestly, the other at-home modification that we have planned today is dumbbell push press. And let's have Twin One grab a pair of dumbbells here. And this is going to be the preferred modification for us today. If we're not kicking up to the wall, then we're doing this push press here, using those hips and the legs to help press that out overhead. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the push press is going to look like this. So let's all join in here and let's do 10 reps of either the dumbbell push press, if that's better for us, or if we want to try getting upside down in that straddle pike push-up. One thing that's very important is we do not want to kick up to a handstand unless we've been coached in private sessions. Please do not get upside down unless you've been coached about that in private sessions. If you want to know more about that, please message me directly or click the link that's in this video. But we've got lots of options here to help us to get that overhead pressing stimulus. And on the push press, we're just starting from the shoulder, using those hips and legs to help press that out overhead. On the handstand push-up, we go through different progressions to help us to safely get up to the wall. And notice how Twin One is using a level of assistance that's appropriate for her. And she probably realizes I'm going to ask her to take probably one of those levels off because she's ready for it. But that's something that we determine in our private and semi-private training sessions, always pushing that envelope. And so good job here on the handstand push-ups or the push press, whichever option is better for us. The third move that we're doing today is chest to bar pull-ups, which usually involves a pull-up bar. And that chest to bar pull-up is going to look like this. Now, the chest to bar pull-up is a very high skilled movement, and many of us don't have a pull-up bar. So instead, we're going to do an at-home modification, which is also a good warm-up for the pull-up. We're going to do Renegade Rows. And let's look on as Twin 1 demonstrates 2 Renegade Rows for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that Renegade Row is going to look like this. So let's all join in here and let's do 10 Renegade Rows together. Now, it could be that that's a bit hard on our wrist, in which case we could choose to do the bent over row, just like we see Betty Boop doing here. We're going to have a bench or a chair or some other surface on which we can support our hand and our knee. And we're going to be looking straight ahead and rowing that dumbbell into the chest with the elbow pointing behind us at the top. If we're doing the Renegade Row as prescribed, we're in a nice plank position, rowing that dumbbell into the chest, keeping the chest and the hips square with the ground. Alternatively, if you happen to have some type of setup that allows you to do some type of incline row, whether that's ring rows or barbell incline rows, then I encourage you to get creative and find some way to do that incline row if that's something that you can achieve with your setup. And the longer we've been doing this program, maybe the more we can give some thought to our setup and come up with creative solutions like this. But good job on these pull-ups or rows or whatever version is good for us. And the fourth and final move that we're doing in today's workout is the dumbbell bench. And let's go ahead and have Twin 1 demonstrate 2 reps of the dumbbell bench for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the dumbbell bench is actually going to be a forward chest press like this. So let's all join in here and let's do 10 reps of the dumbbell bench. Now, if we happen not to have a bench, we have a couple options here. We can do a dumbbell floor press if that's something that we choose to do. Let's have Twin 1 show us what that would look like on the floor. We'd be laying on our back and we'd be pressing those dumbbells upward until we lock that out and then all the way back down. Now, the disadvantage here, as you can see, is that it restricts the range of motion at the end, range of motion at the bottom of the movement. And so if you still want to practice getting that full range of motion and challenging yourself, we could do dumbbell push-ups. Let's have Twin 1 demonstrate here the dumbbell push-up, where we're holding those dumbbells and we're getting all the way down, pushing all the way back up, keeping that midline nice and straight there. Now, if this dumbbell push-up if the regular push-up was already very challenging for us, then we are not going to add the dumbbells here and complicate things. We can just do that regular push-up if that was better for us. Or we could do those incline push-ups. Let's have Betty Boop remind us what the incline push-up looks like. And that would be against a counter or the wall or whatever the case. But we are getting the now forward chest press motion here, using however much assistance is needed. So good job here on the dumbbell bench or whatever version works out for us. Well, now it's ramp up time. If you've been earning badges and you'd like to add some weight to do either the scaled, intermediate, or RX weight for today's workout, then let's start to gradually add some weight, doing about 5 to 10 practice reps of each move at a time, adding a little bit of weight each time until we get to the weight that we want to use for our division. But if we have not been earning badges, or we're just getting back into this after a long time off, then please, let's not add any weight. That super light weight that we were just doing in the warm-up is going to be more than enough for us today. It's very important that we have the right form and consistency with all our habits before we've earned the right to add or reintroduce intensity, such as by adding weight or going fast. And whether we're adding weight or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number 1, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number 2, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. And let's make sure we got our water nearby so we can take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number 3, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And that's how you can synchronize your timer with mine if you choose to use one. Number 4, music. Super important, especially on a one like today, not a short one. We want some jams that are going to keep us motivated all throughout. So what's on your playlist? You can blast your music as loud as you want, as long as you can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? This is a 20-minute workout. The rounds are going to go flying. We want to know exactly how much work we're getting done, where we're at, what's coming up next. The best way to keep track of all that is having the workout written down close by. So let's go ahead and see those whiteboards. If you're a teacher's pet and you came prepared and you know exactly what's about to go down. So teacher's pet picture, here we go in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to bring the whiteboard on screen one more time, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer, and we're about to do this 20-minute AMRAP. That's as many rounds as possible in 20 minutes of 20 calories on the row, 10 handstand push-ups, 10 chest-to-bar pull-ups, and 10 dumbbell bench. Now, most of us are going to be doing the home version of this workout, and we've simplified the options here to help us to keep moving and achieve the stimulus of just going through these stations pretty quickly. So most of us are going to be doing 20 kettlebell sumo deadlift high pulls, 10 dumbbell push presses, 10 Renegade Rows total, that's going to be 5 on each arm, and then 10 dumbbell push-ups. And we're going to scale all these options accordingly. If we're not earning badges, then we are not adding weight. We're keeping all these weights 10 pounds or less. On the Renegade rows, if we need to do the bent over rows, that's still going to be 10 rows total, 5 on each arm. And we can incline those push-ups as much as needed, doing it off a couch, off a counter, or even off the wall. If we do happen to have some of the prescribed equipment, then very much so encourage you to use. If you have a rower, we are looking to keep all these rows at about 90 seconds or less. And so whatever we just got on that 1-minute blast test, that's going to be a good amount of calories for us to scale to in today's workout each round. The handstand push-ups, we are not getting upside down unless we've been coached in private sessions. Please message me for more details about that. But we can do either that dumbbell push press, or if we want to try that straddle pike push-up and we feel comfortable doing that, we can do that. For the chest-to-bar, if we happen to have a pull-up bar or some type of setup that we can do incline rows, that is highly recommended to help us to get more of that pull stimulus. And then the dumbbell bench, if we have some type of bench or something that we can lay on and still have our feet reach the ground and have good support all the way through on our back, our upper back and our lower back as well, then that is appropriate for the dumbbell bench. So your score is going to be the amount of rounds you get through in these 20 minutes of the 20 kettlebell sumo to the thigh pulls, 10 dumbbell push presses, 10 Renegade rows, and 10 dumbbell push-ups, or whatever prescribed equipment you have if you want to do the prescribed equipment that is, of course, recommended as well. So if you're good to go, give me a thumbs up here and we will get this started. I'm going to give us a 10-second countdown. And then I'm going to highlight twin 1 to get us going. So here we go. 20 sumo deadlift high pulls. 10 dumbbell push press. 10 Renegade rows and 10 push-ups. How many rounds are we gonna get? Let's find out. Starting in 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. And we are off on these sumo deadlift high pulls. All the way down, all the way up. Keeping it close to the body, hips low, chest up, getting those elbows high and outside at the top. And we've got Mighty Mouse, of course, stepping the game up, doing a lot of these movements from the standing position. Love to see the progress. But we are driving with those legs, finishing with the arms. Very important that we are getting that hip pop, getting that extension before doing anything with the arms. And then from here, moving on to these handstand push-ups, we got twin 1, kicking up to that wall. And then, boom. Using that level of assistance that's good for her. Now, most of us are doing these dumbbell push presses, so we're still getting that vertical pressing stimulus. And it's a nice, simple modification for today, given the amount of elements we have in today's workout. Mighty Mouse as well, hitting these standing push presses there. Twin 1 made quick work of those handstand push-ups. Already moving on to these incline rows. And so keeping that nice tight midline, rowing the chest into the bar. Betty Boop doing the bent over rows, so 5 on each arm. Mighty Mouse getting a bit of a rest by doing the seated row, although she may not say it's a rest. She's like, I'm still working over here. But yes, she got all 10 of those rows in. And then from here, moving on to some bench press. So we got Betty Boop. Now it's important to note the bench press starts at the top of the motion. So we want to practice that kick up method as we roll back. We're kicking those dumbbells up into place. Or if we want to just press them out into place, that's fine as well. But twin 1 with that nice kick up method. But we start counting on a down up motion. So it starts at the top, down up is where we count those reps. And Mighty Mouse on these push-ups here, and I'm gonna push you just a little bit more here, Mighty Mouse. When we go in, can we turn that head so we can get even closer to the wall there that you're doing the push-ups? So turn left on the first rep, turn right on the second rep, so on and so forth. So we get even more range of motion. And there we go, just like that. But nice work here, locking out all those reps. Most of us done with round 1. And now moving into round 2 here. And everyone here on track to finish within today's target window. And the target window is nothing more than the best way to know if we've challenged ourselves correctly. And the goal is to pick the right weights and to do the right movement options that will allow us to finish within the window. Not too much over, not too much under, but that sweet spot there tells us that we've gotten the appropriate level of challenge for today. Finishing off this row in the second round with these summative high pulls. Betty Boop getting ready to do these push presses. Getting that dip, pressing that out. Twin one, focusing, about to hit that handstand. So here we go. Pressing that out. And notice the head motion there. She's lowering the head, making contact, but then as she's pressing the head through. A technique that we've learned in our private sessions and semi-private sessions for handstand efficiency. And Mighty Mouse pressing that up, locking that out. So moving on to the rows, Betty Boop looking straight ahead, rowing that dumbbell into the chest. Twin one, just finishing off a couple more handstand push-ups before moving on to those incline rows. Mighty Mouse on these rows. But nice work here. Let's go, let's go. Rowing that into the chest. And Betty Boop closing out this second round with that dumbbell bench, that full range of motion, all the way down, all the way up. Mighty Mouse as well on these push-ups here, getting that full range of motion now. And let's get those hands just a little lower on the arm more there so we target more of the right muscles. A little bit higher. There we go. No, what? Just a little bit lower. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go. That's probably right below the shoulders where we want. And twin one, about to hit this bench here. But nice work. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Kicking that up into place and then going to town. The breathing and bracing makes a big difference on the dumbbell bench. We're going to breathe, brace, and push. But nice work here. Let's go. Let's push. Betty Boop done with that third round row. Moving on to this dumbbell push press here. Mighty Mouse on this third round row as well. Getting low, rowing that out. Twin one joining in on this third round row. So let's breathe, getting those elbows high and outside. We are deep into this here, guys. This workout shows us the power of pacing. Those who've been doing this program for a while know that we have lots of different types of workouts in this program. Some are longer, some are shorter. And the longer the workout, the smarter we need to be with our pace so that we don't burn out too quickly. We want to pick a pace that we can hold on to and even kick it in gear and go faster toward the end. Twin one shaking off that row, about to kick into this handstand here. So let's do this. Twin one. Touch, push, getting the head through. And nice work, Betty Boop, closing out this third round on the bench. Mighty Mouse finishing off these rows here. But let's breathe, let's get through it here. Twin one going into this row for the pull-ups. And once again, the importance of keeping a nice tight midline. So we're squeezing those glutes, squeezing that gut, rowing into the bar. And there goes Mighty Mouse on these push-ups. And Betty Boop flying through this here. Not sure what we could do to slow her down. Looks like she's using the heaviest kettlebell she's got. She's already using some heavy dumbbells. She's just a testament to her level of fitness, is just a testament to her dedication and her consistency. Let's keep up this pace here, Betty Boop. There goes Twin one, closing out round 3, about to go into this bench. So deep breath, kicking that into place. All the way down, all the way up. But this is definitely the part of the workout where we start to see a little bit more separation. Some of us are using different weights, different movement options, but that's why we have a nice wide target window today. Today is definitely a day where we get to choose what we need to work on the most. Do we need to work on some of these skill-based movements, getting upside down? Some of these moves can maybe take a longer cycle rate, but the effort is worth it. So let's breathe, let's get through this here, guys. On these push presses, on these rows. And Betty Boop going straight into this bench here. Some nice work here. We're breathing, we're bracing. We are just about 2/3 through this thing here. Holding on to a nice, steady pace. Some of us getting into round 4, some of us finishing off round 4. And let's get those hands just an inch or 2 lower, Mighty Mouse. There we go, closer to shoulder level. We are breathing, getting through this. Putting in this work. Getting those elbows high and outside. We are deep into this here, holding, we're in the part of the workout where it's easy for our mind to start to drift, but we need to stay in the game mentally. We need to stay focused. We've been at this for a while, but we are keeping our head in the game here, hitting these rows, hitting these pull-ups. And this is where we start to maybe think about breaking up these sets. Quick, short sets, 2-3 reps at a time, especially if we're doing higher skill movements like the handstand push-ups or the incline rows. Maybe we do short, quick sets that help us to recover and keep moving at a good pace. But let's stay on it. Breathing, pushing, let's get through it here. Nice work, let's push, let's go. Nothing to it but to do it. On this bench press, full range of motion. Getting those dumbbells to touch. We are pressing, locking that out. And the breathing, once again, super important on that. Deep breath in at the top, bracing throughout the movement. And we are now at the 4-minute warning, which means this is where we dig deep. We've got time, if we really push here, to get at least one more full round. So if we're starting on this row, let's finish off this round. Wherever we're at, if we're on the push-ups, let's make it back to the push-ups. If we're on the pull-ups, let's make it back to the pull-ups. If we really dig deep and kick it in gear, we can pull out this performance here, guys, and we can put the pedal to the metal on these high skill movements. Let's be smart, short, quick sets, 2s, 3s if we need to. Let's keep getting these elbows high and outside on these high pulls. Keeping it close to the body, bracing that core throughout the movement. On these push presses, deep breath in, using those hips and legs, locking things out. Getting through it here, guys. Breathing deep, doing this thing. Breaking up these sets as needed. Every single rep counts as we enter the 2-minute warning. This is where we push. This is where we go. This is where we remember our motivation for doing this. The version of ourselves we are working so hard to be is on the other side of those reps we didn't think we could do. We are digging deep. We are remembering who we are. 90 seconds left here. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. If we finish off this bench, we start the next row because every single rep counts. So let's do what we gotta do here. Pedal to the metal. Less than a minute left. Deep breath in, locking that out. 30 seconds left here. Breathing hard, pushing. Ten more seconds. Let's get another rep. Let's get another rep. Let's get another rep. 3, 2, 1, and time. Man, 20 minutes, but we made it. Thanks to your effort and thanks to the power of the group. And now we're at the best part of the workout, which is the cool down stretch. And this stretch is super important to help us fight soreness, increase flexibility, so we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first stretch we're going to do today is the saddle eagle stretch. And that's going to be where we are in a kneeling position. And we sit back toward those heels. If we can sit all the way back, great. Hey, if this is all we got, that's cool too. However much we got, let's do that. And the eagle is one elbow on top of the other like this. And while we're doing this, let's reflect on the workout. Let's do some high-low buffalo. So, high. What is one thing you feel you did well in the workout today? Low. What is something you want to do better the next time it shows up? And buffalo. What is something that surprised you about the workout today? While we're thinking about that, let's switch here to the other arm. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Betty Boop. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're doing just the eagle part of the stretch with the elbows like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Betty Boop?
Oh, wow. I think my highs were the, it's a cross between the dumbbell, I holding them up, and the presses. I really didn't have a low. Well, I guess my low would be I'm not able to do headstand push-ups yet. My buffalo, I had 2 of them. For some reason, I was thinking after I completed 4 rounds, I was finished. And then it kept going and I go, uh-oh. So then I did 5 and then I thought, okay, that's it. And then I remembered it's an AMRAP. As many reps as possible. So there I got into the, I got 16 into the sixth round. So that was good WOD, coach. Thanks.
And that's just amazing. That's a prime example of what we call WOD brain. We're in the middle of it, and that's why having that whiteboard close by is super important. But glad you were able to dig deep and pull out that awesome performance. Good job, Betty Boop. Let's go ahead and switch to pigeon. We've got the one leg up and across the chest, other leg back, and we are sinking into this like this. And while we're over here, let's hear from twin 1. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're gonna get the one arm up and pull to the side like this. But what is your high-low buffalo twin 1?
So my high were the sumo deadlift high pulls. The low, there was a lot of lows. I think all of those upper body movements, they were killing me. I was struggling to get all the handstand push-ups all the way down on the last couple of rounds. So I was just doing my best, and the dumbbell bench press, I was really feeling it too. And the chest to bar, I was like, man, all these upper body stuff. I know I got to work on it, but man, it's really hard, at least for now. I'll get better.
When it rains, it pours, right? But you know what? Hey, we've been asking for more upper body. We've been getting it in the right dose, sometimes with more of a focus, just like today. And way to nail that, and way to attack a good rep strategy as well. So good job, Twin One. And let's move on to pigeon on the other side. Got the other leg up and across the chest, and we are sinking into this like this. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. If we're doing this from the seated position, we are getting the other arm up, pulling to the side like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Mighty Mouse?
My high was doing the pull-ups, and also my low, I guess, because I couldn't remember where to put my hands to do the push-ups. But the buffalo was that I was able to not get so tired this time around. So hopefully in the future I better not sit as often.
And you know what? I just love the fact that you are so hungry as well. But trust me, we are all super impressed with your progress. And yes, we're continually finding ways to push you even more so that you become more of a ninja with the stamina that you're developing. Well, that's our WOD, that's our stretch, that's our high-low buffalo. You know what's left. This sweaty selfie. Because does this count if we don't take that selfie? Let's flex on the camera here. And let's take this selfie. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. And let's put the fist in the middle for the cheer. On 3, 2 claps, fit crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Big crow!
Fit crew. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed this program, then please give this channel a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.